Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is mean, median, range, and mode. Okay, so by reviewing mean, okay, I always think of mean as being, it's mean, right? Because you have to, number one, find the sum, which is addition, of course, of all the numbers. Number two, you're going to divide. Then, of course, then you're going to divide by the number of numbers.
The amount of numbers.
Yeah, amount. I mean, I've used both, or the amount of numbers. I guess that would be maybe easier for you to understand. Okay, so we'll do an example over. All right, so now let's talk about median. The way that I always like to refer to this, the median, it's the middle, okay? So if you're driving down the road here, and you have a road here, and then you've got a road here. Well, that's not the best method of lines there. Okay, so in here is the middle, and usually there's some trees, you know, plant flowers right in the middle of the median. Anyway, so that is your median. So in other words, it is the middle number, right? It is the middle number. Of course, to find this, you know you have to list the numbers from least to greatest. That's the very first thing that you always want to do when you're finding the mean, median, range, and mode. Okay? So then range, when you think about range, you think about a range of something, right? So you basically here you're finding the difference, which is subtraction, right? All right. So you're finding, you subtract the smallest number from the largest. And that gives you your range. Okay? Now, let's talk about mode. Mode. What mode are you in? Okay? I mean, it's just an idea. But anyway, mode is basically, it's the number that occurs the most. Okay? Sometimes you will have no mode. If you have no numbers that are repeated, then you have no mode. Okay? So, for example, let's just say that you have a set of numbers such as 6, 8, 13, 20, and 25. Okay? So, what is the mean? Well, we're not going to do that right now, but we know what to do. We're going to add all these numbers up and divide by 5. Okay? The median would be what? 13. The range would be 25 minus 6, which is 19. And the mode would be what? 13. It's the number that occurs the most. Now, let's just say that you had 6, 13, 13, 13, 20, and 20. What would be your mode? 13, because that number occurred the most. Okay? Does that make sense? All right, so very good. It's very easy, but let's move on and let's look at page 322. We're going to be doing 21 through 30 together. Okay? So this is going to be page 322. We're going to do 21 through 30 together. Now, so we're talking about a stem and leaf plot, okay? So, George measured the growth rate of plants. This is when these type of things would be used. So, George measured the growth rate of plants for his STEM fair project in centimeters. The measurements are organized in plot C, okay? So, I'm going to draw this plot here. We're going to talk about it. So, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, so we have 3, 7, and 9. We have none. So we have 1, 4, 7, 7, 7, and 8. 0, 1, 2, 2, 2, and 9. 5, we have 0 and 0. 1, 2, 2. 4, we've got a lot of numbers. 4, 4, 5, 7, 8, 8, and 2. All right, so first of all, it's asking us, so let's review. So let's go back here in our numbers. They're already listed from least to greatest. So what are our ones?
13, 17, and 19.
Yep, so 13, 17, and 19. Does everyone see how you get that? You got 1 and a 3 makes 13. 1 and a 7 makes 17. 1 and a 9 makes 19. We have no 2s. Do we have any 3s?
No.
Okay, what are they?
1,
31, 34, 37, 37, 37, 38. Do we have any 4s? Yes, we've got 40, 41, 42, 42, 42, and 49. Do you understand this, Bear? You guys understand this, how you're getting those numbers? All right, 50s, you have 50, 50, 51, 52, 52, 54, 54, 55, 57, 58, and then 62. All right, so here's our question. How many plants were between 20 centimeters and 29 centimeters, okay? So, you go and you find the 20 centimeters, or 20. You have no 20s. So the answer, number 1, is none.
a big old circle.
Okay, number 2, what was the height of the shortest plant?
13 centimeters.
Okay, does everyone agree?
Well, it couldn't be nothing because 2 wasn't there.
No, that means there's no 2s. There's no 20. There's nothing in the 2s. So it would be 13 is the smallest number. Okay, number 3. What's number 3? What was the height of the tallest plant? So what's your largest number? 62 centimeters. Got to answer the question entirely. 24. What is the mode?
2.
37 and 42.
Okay, so do you have any numbers that you have more of than another?
2.
Wait, is it the 50?
No, the same number. Like, look right here. You have 37, 37, and 37. So you have 3 of those.
And then 42.
You have 3 of those. Those are equal, right? So you have no number that you have more of. So it's none. Your answer is none. Does everyone understand that? Why it's none?
Yeah.
Fabulous. Number 5. 25. Actually, oh, okay. Well, this is 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. What is the median height of the plant? So what number is in the middle?
38.
39. There's a 39.
42.
It is 42. Good job. 42 centimeters. So how would you find that? Well, you would go from here like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You stop there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So my number is 42 because that's right in the middle. All right, number 26. How many plants were less than 35 centimeters tall? 5. Number 27. How many plants were more than 65? None. Number 28. How many plants were 58 centimeters tall? 2. And number 30.
What about 29?
Yes, 29. What class has only one data value? 60s. Okay, so notice that this is a class. 1s is a class, 2s is a class, 3s is, those are referred to as classes. So it would be the 60s class. Okay, number 30. Write out the list of data values in the 60s class. 62, one simple number, right?
Yep.
All right, does everyone understand this? Have any questions? All right, questions or you do understand? All right, page 332, line graph. So what is a line graph? What is a line graph? Someone raise your hand and tell me what a line graph is. Noah?
Is used to record or plot numerical data such as gauge for temperatures, population growth, prices, etc.
Okay, and then you can go on to say that it shows how the data have changed over a period of time. Basically, that's what line graphs are doing, okay? So, by looking at the graph of Mr. Taylor's Toy Shop, which is underneath this on page 332, you will see that it is easy to view his monthly sales throughout the year. Since the month with the highest or lowest totals line graph is easy to identify. The toy shop can analyze the sales to see what their trends are, when they see it tend to sell more, when they tend to sell less, and those type of things. Now, notice the line graph, 8.6. Here you have Taylor's Toy Shop, and this is for 2017. Now, what is your labels on the side? Okay, so it tells us that the sales are in dollars, okay? What is the bottom label? Months. It goes from January through December. Now, what month had the highest sales? Well, you can look at this and see that December had the highest sales since the point is higher than any other point, okay? Now, between what 2 months were the greatest drop in sales? In other words, what was the greatest decrease? So they sold the least amount of toys in between what 2 months?
February.
How about July and August? See how they...
All the credits dropped.
Yeah, that's how it dropped, yes. So how many times did the sales increase between months?
3.
No, about 8 times. Like it went in January, and it went up in February, it went up in March. And then it went up in May, June, July. And then it went back up in October, November, and December. And I think that equals 8. Okay, so what is the value of the first minor grid line? Notice that it starts with 0. That's a major grid line. There's a minor grid line in between. And the next major is 5,000. So what is the minor grid line in between?
250,000.
2,500. That's exactly right. Now, what was the amount of sales for February? The amount of sales for February?
Like 14,000.
About 15,000. How about September?
17,500.
Very good. Now, let's move over to page 330. Number 1, you are going to decide on an appropriate scale. And your scale is your numbers, right? Which it could be in dollars, it could be in miles, it could be in whatever, but it's based on numbers. Then you're going to give the graph a title, okay? It's important. Listen closely. Then you're going to label the quantities found in the title as the vertical scale. Label the chronological sequence as the horizontal scale. Notice that the previous one is month. Number 5, plot the points on the line graph And then after the points are plotted, then you connect the dots. Okay, basic steps. You've done it before. We're going to do one, but we're not going to do that quite yet. Okay? All right, moving on here. Let's look at example 8.6b. What is the title of this graph? Average fuel prices. What year had the lowest average price of fuel? We already know this, 2002. They have your answers there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what year had the highest? 2012. What was the approximate cost for gas, a gallon of gas in 2009? Okay, $1.80, 87, something like that. We'll move down to the last question. In 2016, what would you expect regular gasoline or diesel to be more expensive? Diesel. Okay, flip over to the next page. Notice that you have graphs that could have a curved line, or you could have graphs that have a straight line. Okay? Now, each of the previous line graphs were broken line graphs, which means the points were connected with a straight line. Okay? A curved line continues curved lines that shows the data over time. You know, it goes up and it goes down like a roller coaster. Or a straight line that continues straight up or down depending on the direction. Okay? Pretty simple, huh? All right, you are going to complete, I know it's going to seem like really mess up, but we're going to. Page 334 to 336, you're going to do 1 through 22. I know some of this is practice on some multiplication, but we are going to start a lot of that practice so that we can make sure that we are ready for standardized testing, which is sometime after a break. So page 334 to 336, you may write your answers in your book, and you're going to do 1 through 22. Any questions?